What is going on there, everyone, and welcome back to another video from Dracon. Today, we are going into the Pathfinder battles, and this is a set and kind of style I really wish WizKids would just do in general, whether it's in their Pathfinder or in the WotC's stuff. I mean, goodness gracious, I like these kind of sets. They're more value for the buck. Now, as you can see, this is the Accursed Constructs. This is the front view of what you would see if you were, say, sitting on a shelf. And as you can see, we're getting a lovely little group of medium, large, and then one big boy, huge one. Now, I really wanted the huge construct in the center because I've seen 3D printed models. They don't do justice, but this one looks like it's going to be quite fun. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to let the old sort of opening here get to business, slice this bad boy open, and we're going to take a look at these bad boys inside because, man, this one's causing me to buy the other Impossible Lands one, I think, for the villains, which has like a giant demon and creepy crocodile thing, and that is coming. I do have it coming, so I will do that next in the future. So, you know, look forward to it. That's why I definitely say, guys, while I'm at it, make sure you hit that like button. Hit that subscribe, guys, if you haven't done so already. Helps the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate it. It always helps out grow the Dragon Army. And let's open this bad boy up. So first up here we have the Clockwork Spy. Now, obviously we have a little spy bot. It's basically a round spy robot. Big one eye. I like how the flight effect actually is being used on it. Pushes the robot forward on the base, but yet holds it back with a nice little swish there, and I like it. And that's good that we're not getting more of the pegs anymore. I do like they got rid of the peg base holding. It got old really fast. This one looks pretty good. I love the little wings on it. They're kind of like little bat wings. The little antennae is cool. The legs are nice. It kind of reminds me of like one of those old vintage robots. Something you'd find in like an old movie. Not like Terminator, but like War of the Worlds. It looks like something you would find there flying across. Like it's a good mixture of fantasy and some steampunk style with a bit of like futuristics. Has all the above, which makes it work really nice. I can easily see this being done by an artificer in your game, or maybe your group buys one. Why? I don't know, you just want something that can spy for you, or you're just like, why not? What's the worst that can happen? Now, comparatively, I don't really have much clockwork creatures. I had a clockwork bird I was going to use with it, but I can't seem to find the mini. But it is bigger than that. It's a true small creature, but close to being medium. However, let's get to the next one. I mean, it's very simple. So I like the bronzish sort of gold like metal. It looks really nice on it. Looks pretty good. And I mean, compared to a Modron, which is like also probably pure automaton, it definitely is better than the WizKids Modron, like in look. Like one of those times that Pathfinder has at least equaled, if not surpassed, with that style. Here we have the lovely silver-armored automation warrior. This is pretty cool if you're looking for like a knight, but yet you didn't want to have like a knight who's just standard with a shield and sword. No, this robot's different. It has a lovely sword attached to its arm. Now, yes, some of these things might have some bendy weapon syndrome. They're pretty tight in their packaging. I think that was probably a downfall. I'm going to have to hit some of these to some really hot water to fix them. Like, some of them really need it, some don't, but, like, honestly, it's pretty cool. Now, getting to the model sub. Now, this is a nice, simple paint job, or simple sculpt, but I like it. It kind of reminds me of the, the Terminator, or the Destroyer from Thor. It's got this, like, human-esque appearance to it, but it has still a metallic feel. Like, it's going to end you without really any hesitation once the order is given. Pretty cool, and I like it. I like that metallic paint job. It reflects the light beautifully. I got to give Pathfinder credit on that one. Their painters did a great job on this. It is well painted and looks very suave and debonair at the same time. Like, it looks like it would be an elegant machine. Very nice. Let's move on, though. So here we have the Clockwork Soldier. Another humanoid class creature. I'd say probably in a medium build. It's not really leaning towards masculine or feminine. It's a simple automaton standing there ready to fight. I don't know if it's bending due to its body, but it looks like maybe it's just how it is. It's got a large axe ready to fight. That might even be a halberd. I can't remember off the top of my head if that's correct, but it's pretty cool. I do like its design. It looks like you could actually use this to represent a guard in full plate mail if you didn't have enough of them. It could easily stand in for that on the board, and no one's going to really bat an eye. They're like, oh, that's just cool. Because it looks pretty sweet. Honestly, it kind of reminds me of like a metallic where you'd find like Legend of Zelda, one of the newer ones, because they have these robots and stuff walk around. It'd be kind of something that I could expect them to have. But it does look good. I love the armor. It's not like the same silver level as the automaton. It's a slight shade different, but it's just enough to make it unique, which is good. And I love the little plumage. The plumage looks great on its head. So, Clockwork Soldier 1. Very effective. And following up, we have Clockwork Soldier 2. Obviously, we have two of the same character, basically, in just different poses. I do like how the head has changed its position. It's more of like it's turned. Even the little, I like to call him like the helmet tail, is doing that curl around like it's swinging his body. He's getting ready to bring the axe up and take down his foe. And now, I normally probably complain with there being two of the same type of model in a set, but not so much of this, because soldiers and guards are very needed, and these would be great to have on opposite sides of, like, when you're building your scene setup, and you're, like, say they got to get past a bridge of guards, put these guys like, on each side of the doorway. That way they're looking like they're, the same rank, same level, but, like, they're just slightly also different, so it's like, hey, I'm going to go for the one that's swinging his axe, or I'm going to go for the one who's kind of standing more proudly. That way they're different enough that your group can specify which one. It's like, which Clockwork Soldier do you strike? The one that's doing the swish. Like, okay. Helps the DM out, helps the players, so it also is a nice thing there, too. And I gotta say, Pathfinder is definitely increasing their paint jobs, because so far, none of these have disappointed. They've all been pretty good. Now, let's compare all these to another construct, though, shall we? There, I thought I'd go with one of the shinier constructs of the old days, and that's the Astral Construct. And as you can see, they're about the same size scaling, all medium. The Astral Construct may be a little whiter, but it's a more whiter metal. Like, it's like silvery white metal. They are silver metal with golden accents and bronzes, and it makes them look nice. But you can see they easily can compete with the old stuff that looks good like this. And yet, they also look like you can put them next to each other, and it's not a big deal. Obviously, yes, the new bases do look nice. I kind of like the clear bases. They work. They also kind of don't. Like, if you don't put things on there properly, it could not work, but it's what it is. I'm fine with either base type either, but it looks good. I do like it, and I do enjoy. They look quite nice. And what kind of comparison if I didn't compare the, automaton warrior with his blade next to this construct? They're very similar in the fact they're both made right to fight, and they're very both simplistic as they're made of the same colors. Not much variation, and they're simple. Ready to combat and fight. And you can see these Astral Construct here. He has that curved leg design, more like an animal leg. So he's probably more about like bestial level speed and fighting. Well, this one, obviously more new and, I'd say more modern design, has a more elegant and more of a sophisticated battle style base. So you do notice that. It's almost like the old stuff looks bestial versus the new stuff. I like the effect it has. But moving on. Can't, dote on one thing all day. So here we have the Clockwork Mage, another of the Clockwork creatures. Since we had the Clockwork Spy, and two Clockwork Soldiers, and then we also had the Automation Warrior doesn't count as Clockwork, but similar. And now we have one that uses magic, which is pretty cool. We got one that uses its speed and stealth to probably spy, while this guy could be like what's falling behind them as kind of like a sub-leader to their main boss. But it is pretty cool. He looks lovely modern with the golden robe or really heavy bronze. I'm not really sure which, but I like it. And he's got that little cool spell effect. The blue face actually is nice because it offsets the rest of his body being all the gold. He looks really cool. I actually like this guy. Anyone playing a Warforged who wants to be magic, this is what I'd recommend you make your Warforged look like, because it has such a cool presence on the battlefield, and it looks sweet. Honestly, this is one that really hits me as Breath of the Wild, esque in its look. It looks like something I could find in Breath of the Wild and fight. Just like the soldiers, the spy, and the thing so far. Really weird. And the next one probably could continue that. But let's move on, though, shall we? I mean, I love this effect. He's a cool-looking mage, but we got to keep moving, or I'm never going to get through this box. Next up, the mighty creature Pathfinder, the construct, the Calicang. Now, Calicang is basically your 6-armed brute behemoth fighting creature. Basically, you would find these guys in arenas whooping the crap out of everyone in their armored glory. Now, this Calicang is actually not my only Calicang model. But I will say what this one has going for it versus what's going with the other one once we get to comparison. But let's first. I love his bright colors. It's very nice. I wish there was a little bit more shadow, a little bit more wash could have gone into this one, I think. Would have made him look a little nicer. Would have helped crease the muscles they're trying to make. Like, there's a lot of creases they were going for, and they definitely needed some more color. The mask face not having, like, color eyes in there might have also been a letdown. I think it needed those to help show, like, where it's showing. Yes, we all know that pure, dark, void look is cool, but, you know, we need a little bit of assistance. Now, let's get to the part where we do some comparisons, shall we? So here we have the Calicang of old and the Calicang of new. Well, as you can see, they are similar, but kind of very different. Like, I would honestly say refined Calicang on the right there, and left one would be more of like your Calicang primitive. Now, why do I say that? Well, let's look at their styles. They're very different. He has these like white cloth accent pieces to really show variation. Instead of red pants, he's wearing a red kind of battle skirt, I guess you'd call it. His boots are very big and sort of cartoony, I guess you'd call it. Like very bulky and big, while his are a little bit more refined. His emeralds are a little bit more clearly defined. Instead of having... I actually like the collar of the old Calicang versus the new one. The helmet on the old one is fine. I wish the old one had like a little bit more of like a darker void to his colors of his helmet's eyes, because they're a little too bright to help get an offset going. But then, like, the new Calicang is holding a dagger in one of his other offhands, which I think is kind of nice. I wish the Calicang of old actually had more weapons. He only has these two big scimitars, which, don't get me wrong, they're really cool and I like them. But that's it. Like, he has these 4 other hands, unless they're just going to punch you while they'll slice you, you know. Now, he has a little bit overwashing, so it's kind of like you're kind of looking at the 2 offsets. One being too clean, one being a little darker than it needs to be. Now, however, this is a construct, not a human. It's a construct. Or not an organic creature. It's created. I do wish the Calicang of new actually had those bicep rings. I think that would have definitely helped kind of reduce the purple flow. Because with his stance like that, he's kind of giving me a very heavy Thanosian type thing. Like, oh, I'm a crazy psychopath. Get ready to die, bruh. The other one just gives me like, I'm ready to fist fight or slash you to death, whatever it takes. But also has like a vintage feel to it. So, but overall, very nice nonetheless. Each one's good. I mean, honestly, I'd use them both. No reason to say why one's bad and one's good. They're both really nice for what they are. But, you know, you can see some advantages and disadvantages to the new and old. Because the new one's swords are a little rounded, and I'm not a big fan of that. I wish they had a little bit more flair in the blade. But, moving on, let's continue before we get stuck on what differences these Calicangs have and what they have in common. And next up we have the Sword Keeper. Now this one literally reminds me of something Breath of the Wild. Reminds me of the Guardians in a way. It has blue energy swords and multiple arms that kind of look like they're sort of clockworky with a mix of like old ruin-esque metal. And in the center there, you can see it. There is a sword powering it. Or maybe that's the sword that it's keeping safe. So how would I roll this one in the game? Honestly, I would say this creature is a large construct that if you defeat, you can get standard swords or the special sword in the center. And that one requires like a skill check, and if you get it, or it breaks in the process. Because like this thing obviously doesn't want to let go of its sword. It is a sword keeper, so it's probably keeping that sword from the unworthy. Defeating him mostly is how you get it. Now, yes, it clearly has bendy weapon syndrome. I get that. Happens a lot these days. Their packaging gets tighter and tighter, and it pushes on the plastic. And these companies think they're going to sell so fast that shouldn't be a problem. Well, they should start thinking ahead on that. And they save money everywhere else. Got to kind of do that. Now, the paint job on this one, even though it's an ancient-looking creature, looks really good. I like the vintage look to his metal. Even his silvery parts are kind of dulled down, which makes it work. a little bit. Yeah, you can see that one spot there on the lower part, I just want to point out, is actually a little spot where they got some silver where it wasn't supposed to go. So, ugh, not good. But it could be a reflection, so I mean, it could also work. Now, the swords being energy swords are kind of cool, but I wish they sort of weren't energy swords, only because, like, it feels too magical. Like, I feel characters are going to just try to steal the four swords because they're these energy blades and just leave. If they can't get the big sword quick, they're going to go, man, we'll take the, secondary prize and leave. Now, this thing I think should blow up or, like, self-destruct, so to speak, or kind of erupt with parts going everywhere because I feel that'd be the only way it could work. Now let's move on to the last and final creature, because I don't have much to compare them with. Well, actually, I do have one. The crystal golem, since they are kind of this sort of translucent. You can see next to like a Reaper Bones crystal golem. Looks pretty good. Like, it works great. And next to a stone golem, another similar stone monster, it also looks pretty good. So I think, honestly, this is Sword Keeper. He's got a good place. But let's move on to the final and main part of this box. And here he is, the prehistoric, the mighty fossil construct. I call that the fossil golem, because look at this big boy. This one is cool. I just can't help it. This is one of the main reasons I want it. This golem of dinosaur bones put together into a terrifying beast. We have Rex skulls on the arms, a Rex skull head, Triceratops shoulder pauldrons. This thing looks aggressive but cool. Now, the head in the center I can't say is a Rex just because it doesn't look right. It looks a little bit on the small side. And then it's like and then I thought about it and I go, what if that's a Nanotyrannus skull for the head? Big T-Rex skulls for the hands. Because, I mean, that kind of works more. Because that head skull is a little off. And you can see a little bit on the spine due to the tight packaging. A little bit of a warpage. A little hot water, though, or heat gun would make that work. I just love the segmenting bones, though. It looks so good. They merged the spikes and all that to work perfectly. The ribs look great. And I wish there was a core in the chest. That's something I would have loved. A core in its chest. And a core in the mouths of the dinosaur heads. That would have been cool, because that would give it more. Like, maybe this thing could have a breath attack that fires out, like, fossiletic necrotic beams that fire out of its mouths. Now, I like the head thing too, that sort of Xeno-style mouth with the four jaws. That's actually pretty baller. I like that. It's like taking the idea kind of like of a predator or an alien and just going like, yeah, it works on this guy. I wish they were a little more spaced out too, so to give more of like a definitional look to it. But I gotta say, this is my favorite. Of all of them, the ancient creature is the strongest. This creature may be simple since it's just made of bones and magic, but I bet you right now it would probably whoop down all the other constructs without, well, bones down in this case. I wish it had a little tail coming off, or at least a small tail. I think that would have been kind of cool, like a club tail from an Anki coming off the back. Would have been nice. Would have given it something more, because, I mean, it is a dinosaur after all. Even a skeletal tail of a small one would be better than nothing. But I like the spikes. I like everything else. This thing is great paint job. It's not too runny and too dirty. It's not too clean, not like clean polished bone. It looks amazing. I just love this thing. I love dinosaurs. I love the reptile creatures. This one is like what they could be if you take their bones and give them to an artificer. Boom. Dinosaur fossil golem. Looks awesome. Could be a great thing that maybe your group could summon or fight. It would be cool. I definitely recommend. And this is the kind of stuff, though. These constructs are definitely showing how Pathfinder has really improved their game. They've improved their painting from the old days when you get them and kind of go, man, a lot of derpy paint jobs here. Like, look at the eyes on that thing. One's going up and one's going down. They're like cross-eyed. That one's missing eyes. Like, what's going on? But they've really improved. So I give credit to Paizo and, Pathfinder. They've really gone with WizKids in this department, and they've really stepped up to make good products like this. Now, this is the product I like to see. This Impossible Lands construct set. These are what I want more of, more than I'd rather have their blind boosters. We all know that the Legends one, this new the African lore-based one, didn't really hit well, it looks like. I think that one kind of flopped, as some people have said. I'm not saying it personally. I thought it was okay. But, you know, a lot of people said it's a flop set. This, like, set is one I'd recommend to people because you just need more constructs. Come on. Who doesn't want a cool giant fossil golem? Who doesn't want a cool sword-swinging, ancient-looking golem? Who doesn't want cool, like, automational characters that you could use for Warforges, like mages, a Warforged, like, fighter, a Warforged knight or paladin? I mean, come on. Who wouldn't want those? Now, I got this from Amazon. I think, actually, if I remember correctly, this is around $25. Not a bad set. It was on sale, $25. Of course, I wasn't going to pass it, but this is a good set. Like, that was an amazing deal to get this lovely set. Like, I spent, like, probably almost what you'd pay for, like, 2 of the smaller boosters. And I got lovely set of golems that don't disappoint. Might need a little hit with the hot water, but all look good. Now, as always, guys, I thank you for coming this far in the video. If you have come all the way, I thank you very much. Make sure, in this case, you fossil stomp that like button. Hit that subscribe if you have not done so already. Join the Dragon Army and help support the channel grow. And throw in the comments down below if you have anything you want me to talk about, any ideas you might want me to go with, maybe a stream idea, something like that. Or if you just got any ideas, comments, concerns, all that good stuff. I do try to answer back, and yeah. So I'll see you all in the next time. Have a great one, and bye-bye.